Hello everyone, my name is Hisham. I'm the owner of Clemson Aeronautics, where we make the riveting and dimpling system for the experimental aircraft market. Somebody had commented on when I mentioned how to order our machines. Here's our website, and you can find an email address on there, or you can call me. That's my personal cell phone number. And that I mentioned at the time, like when you call us, we'll build one for you, which gives the impression that we don't already have those in stock. On the contrary, we have all the parts in stock, and we just customize it according to the customer wishes. So that is, I just wanted to make that clear. We are in the business of making those systems. That is our only business. So when you're ready, please give us a call. And today we are starting on the rudder. So I kind of store all the parts together the way they came in from vans. And the way they came in is in bags and kits. And when I'm trying to find a part, I just go to my parts list and figure out which kit it is in, and I go to that kit and get my part and leave the rest of the kit altogether, so I won't have a hard time finding a specific part. This is a list of the parts that I got and the kit numbers. So I will try to type that in with the video, so you won't have a hard time trying to find a specific part. It will be easy when you know that this is R00915A is in the kit number 2, so you can just go to that kit. They got this part that you need. Ordinarily, when I start a new section, I read through that entire section to understand how things are put together, and also I refer to the OOPS list that I got from Vans Air Force and see what's related to this section. So starting this section of the rudder, which is section 7, it basically tells me to bring some parts, and those parts would be punched together in like one stick or something, and I would have to saw it into pieces and deburr it. So that page is pretty basic, referring to the R00914 and all the skin stiffeners for the rudder, and some shims and so forth, and also there's a horn brace that's on there. You have to kind of cut a couple of wings off of it, and the bottom rib is kind of unique. They cut it into two, so you have to split it together and trim it to make it work together. Evidently in the building, these two pieces are separated. Then after you rivet it together, it makes a rib, which is the bottom rib. So we start by separating all the parts on the saw, cutting it and buffeting on a buffing wheel, and deburring the holes. The holes, for the time being, I am not going to deburr these holes till I figure out if I am doing any match drilling or final drilling. It doesn't make any sense to go ahead and deburr a hole now. So I will do that as I go. Now in page 703, the first thing it talks about the rudder horn, which is this aluminum piece. This aluminum piece kind of nests inside that bottom rib, and it comes in with a pretty sharp edge where it nests, and the rib itself from the inside have a pretty large curvature, so I have to buff that out pretty good to make sure it lays and nests inside that curve. Also have to round the corners on it like I did here. I went ahead and deburred the holes, just smooth the whole thing, because I don't know what is going to be touching later on or what have you, but it's always a good idea to round all the corners like that. Also, there is a shim that goes between the spar and the rudder horn, so to make up for the difference between the bottom rib and the spar itself. So there is a shim in between here. Now the plan calls for to Clico everything together here, and just I am going to use a number 30 reamer to final drill the holes. Actually, these holes are pretty close to size to begin with, if not to size, but I think what Van want to do is when you Clico all these together, they don't line up perfectly. There is like 1 or 2 thousandths maybe to this side or to this side of these holes, and what they want is for us to Clico it all together, run a reamer in there, make sure that the rivet is going to go through. That's all what they are trying to say. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm get my drill and the reamer and run it through these holes to make sure that I won't have any trouble while I'm riveting it together. Well, this is it for that, and then the plan's called to disassemble everything and deburr it. But before you do, you need to put some marks on parts that could be inadvertently put in the other way. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark the reinforcement plate and the shim just to make sure that I got it in the right direction. So I can say here, forward. And now that I disassembled all these parts that I just final drilled, I think it's time to go ahead and deburr all the hole that I just did with my slow drill. Okay, we're done with that. On to the next step, which is step number 4. Radius the corner at the front end of the R912 counterbalance rib and the 903 top rib flange to ease fit when the skin are installed. See figure 3. Basically what we're talking about here is those two that goes on top of the rudder. This is where the counterbalance is going to be, and this is the top rib here, and you can tell that it's curved, so I need to see the curvature, and we need to flute that and that to make it lay flat. Now I fluted both ribs and I buffed it up pretty good, rounded the corners, especially the front end. I went ahead and dot the aft end also on both sides. On page 7-4, the step number 2 calls for a final drill number 30, the 3/32 hole. It's kind of odd and you don't know what it is, and you look at the rest of this section and you don't find any use for it. It's for later on when you're putting the cover on the top of the rudder, I believe. But the issue is it's telling you after you drill that to a number 30 drill, you're supposed to dimple it for a CS4 flush rivet. CS4 is a pop rivet, blind rivet, and so I went and found the rivet, and I think it's in a bag by itself, and that is bag 3034. I had a suspicion that the dimple for this pop rivet is different from the other dimple dies that I have. Although it's the same size, number 30. I thought number 30, I mean an 8th rivet, that would be the same dimple. But when I picked up the rivet, the head looks different. And the angle on it looks a lot bigger than a 100 degrees. And so I thought, well, I'll go on Vans Air Force and see what the guys say. And sure enough, the angle on it is 120 degrees, and there is a special dimple die for that, and I don't have it. And it's December 2nd, and Cleveland Tools are closed till the 4th of the month. They have it on their website. So I wanted to see what else, and the thought that came to my mind is to use one of the rivets as the die itself. So what I did is I took one rivet and I cut it short to go on my number 30 die, and I took just a little flat piece of aluminum, and I drilled the hole, this 5/64 in it, just hole big enough for this this tim of the rivet to go through and sit on my dimpling machine while the die would go on it and form the shape of the actual rivet in my skin. And try 2 holes, and this is the result on both of them. So let me try and get that as close as I can. That is how it looks, and this is the second one. So that's how it looks. We'll try it together here on camera for that 3rd hole and see what happens. Okay, let's try this and see what happens. Just come down slowly. is the third hole. Well, folks, I think this experiment was a success. It is, all three holes are the same. They are very flush, and I think the rivet head will lay in there very good. I have to keep in mind that this rivet is made out of aluminum, so I cannot use it too many times to do this, because you wear it out and you're not gonna get a good dimple anymore. So I am ordering the set of dies for the CS4 countersink for the pop rivet. But till then, I have only two holes, one in the right skin and one in the left skin of the rudder. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that technique to do just those. I think I've had enough for one day, and I hope you guys have a great weekend, and you had a great new year. And again, if you guys would like to order our products, the Riveting and Dimpling System, just give us a call, and you can see all our products on the website. Thank you very much for watching our videos, and we hope to see you in the next one very soon.